thanks for joining. I'm going to put my phone down so I don't have to hold it and shake. Good afternoon. Yes, I joined a group not too long ago called Mommy Scopes, and I've been listening to... Hey, how are you? How are you doing today? Awesome. Hi, Becky. Hi, Veronica. So I recently joined a group called Mommy Scopes, and I've been listening to quite a few ladies, and they have been quite inspiring to me, and there's been something that's been on my heart, and so I want to talk about it. And I named this broadcast Who Me Can't Be, and why we need to speak up. I have a past that most people don't know. Yes, I am very happy right now. I have 4 wonderful children. Hey, Heather. And I have a lot to be thankful for in my life, and so I don't want anybody to think that I'm not thankful, because I am. But I have gone through hell to get here. And I have to say that I think the only way that I'm really going to heal is if I talk about it. And if talking about it helps one other person, great. But really talking about it's going to help me. And by helping me, I'll be a better mom. I will be a better soon-to-be wife again. And I'll just be a better person. And so what this really is about is a topic that we've all heard about. It's called domestic abuse. But I'm not talking about the punches that are thrown and the black eyes and the physical abuse. I'm talking about the mental and emotional abuse that happens, that as women, we tend to not talk about very much at all. And the reason why we don't talk about it is because it can't be seen. A bruise can be seen. Somebody can recognize it. But the feeling of walking on eggshells and being told you're not allowed to cry and express yourself, being yelled at, screamed at, verbally assaulted, we don't talk about those things. We keep them inside. We make excuses. Yep, made excuses for years about it. And I think the only way to help it to stop, or to help somebody, is to say it's okay to talk about it. Now, I'm not talking about the everyday arguments or disagreements that happen between 2 people who are together, because those happen. And in any relationship, you're going to have some disagreements, and you're supposed to. We all have opinions. We're allowed to express them. But when you start to made to feel like you can't express them, and that you shouldn't express them, and that your opinion doesn't matter, that your voice doesn't matter, we need to be able to speak up. Something that I was telling myself the other day is a lesson that I learned, because I was cracking eggs, and I was looking at them, and I was like, you know what? Eggshells belong in the trash can, not under our feet. And I lived for the past 8 years walking on eggshells, making sure that the person in my life, which was my ex-husband, came home or was here and nothing was wrong. It was all his way. It was, the kids were quiet. They were not bothering him. And what happened was I was exhausted beyond belief, and I didn't know why. And my kids were cranky, and they were disobedient and sad and acting up. I have a teenager, and her behavior just drastically changed. And then my son kind of coiled into himself, and I didn't know what was wrong. And the reason why I didn't know what was wrong is because I wasn't telling anybody. I wasn't talking to myself. I wasn't recognizing what was going on. So I'm not here to tell anybody to get divorced or to stay in a marriage. That's not my job. That's a personal decision. Hey, sweetie. How are you? Hang on one second, you guys. You're supposed to be... Nobody. I'm doing a video. You're supposed to be laying down during rest time.
I don't want to be by you.
I know, sweetie. So you need to go to the playroom, and then I will come and get you.
I don't want
You want to say hi? Sorry, I missed that comment. Say hi. That's my little Annie. Actually, her name's Michaela, but she looks like Annie because she has really curly hair. All right, you guys, hang on one second. Let me get her, because I really don't want her to hear this conversation. All right, I need you to go to the playroom.
When you're done with it, I want to see the video.
Okay, deal.
When you end up for what video.
Sounds like a good idea. All right,
No, I
go
don't
finish.
want to.
Okay, go to the playroom and finish rest time, and I will come and get you. Thank you.
What playroom?
Either go upstairs or go to the other playroom.
I'm going to the playroom.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I know, but Mommy, I want to do this. Okay. Does anybody else have any redheads? This has been my challenge. Okay, so like I said, I'm not here to tell anybody to stay married or to divorce. That's not my job. It's a personal decision. I was raised by a very Christian and loving home. My parents are still married. They are ministers. And I saw that example growing up, and that is so what I wanted. It's always been what I wanted. It's still what I want. I never wanted to be divorced. I never wanted to be a single mom. I just wanted to be a wife and a mother. That's it. Life took me a different direction. I made some decisions that, right now I'd probably say I'm not the proudest of, but it got me to my life where I'm at. And so I just want to encourage people to start talking about it. And that is what some of my Periscopes will be about. I'm not going to focus solely on it because I have a lot of fun things going on in my life, and I love to craft and I love to cook, and exactly my journey. Thank you. I know. I feel like I'm getting stronger, so that's good. And you know what? I've always been a strong girl. Even as a teenager, I was a leader. Thank you. I'm the oldest of 5, so I helped my mom raise my brothers and sisters. I was very, very big in our religious organization. And so I lost that. I lost my way, and I allowed a man to come in and just tear me down because I didn't believe in myself anymore. And when I started to realize what was going on, it was way late. I wanted to believe that I could love him through it, that I could stay strong and love him so hard and so good that he wouldn't do it anymore. Like, that's what I really believed. Like, if I just am the perfect wife and the perfect mother and did what he said, when he wanted, whenever he wanted, that he would change and that it would get better. And it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse. And so so I just want to be able to talk about it. I want to talk to people. I know that some people are not comfortable with sharing their personal details in their life. I believe that, yes, exactly. We're not perfect by no means. I think perfection is a myth. I think is a big, fat, huge lie that we talk about, that we portray. We just try to say, oh yeah, life's perfect. And I did that. And nobody knew. To date, and I am finally out of that marriage. It took a while because he fought me. To date, even my family doesn't know anywhere near what was going on because I was embarrassed and I was ashamed that as a strong person and as a Christian that I allowed it to go on. I was embarrassed and probably still am. There's a lot of things that I'm still embarrassed about. Like, who, me? Like, that can't be. Seriously, it's like, I'm not abused. What are you talking about? And I remember the day I was actually trying to get divorced for a while, and he just prevented it left and right. And I didn't know what to do. I showed up at an attorney's office finally. The moment I set foot into the attorney's office and opened the door, the receptionist was on a phone call. And she goes, "Sure, no problem. What is your name?" And she said his name out loud. And I thought, how is this possible? He doesn't know where I'm at. He doesn't know what I'm doing. How does he know this? And I literally probably ghosted out. Like, I was completely white. the lady was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, please don't tell him I'm here. And she just knew. And so as I was talking with the attorney and telling her just this much, because I was still ashamed, she goes, "You need to get a protection order right now because nobody is going to save you." I had called the cops. My teenager had called the cops on him several times. And because he was a military police officer, retired, they swept it under the rug. It didn't matter what I said. It didn't matter what was happening. He just swept it under the rug. And so I went, and through circumstances, and I believe that God actually was working in this time, I actually had to go to a women's shelter to fill out the paperwork because everybody, now how is this possible? Everybody at the court, our county court, was gone on training 2 hours away. So I had to go to a women's shelter to have them help me fill out the paperwork. And of course, there was only one judge, and they had to call in a favor. Anyways, I was filling out the paperwork to just have this simple legal action done. The lady started asking me questions, and I know this is what they're trying to do. I understand that. And she started asking me questions, and I lost it. I busted out in tears because she started asking these questions, and the only thing I could say was, yes, that happened to me. Yes, that's happening right now. Yes, yes, yes. But for 8 years, I never realized it. Like, how is that possible? That's what I'm talking about, because we don't talk about it, because there's nobody there saying, this isn't right, this isn't okay. It is one thing to follow your husband, and I agree. Wives should be submissive to their husband. It's another thing to allow somebody to literally control you to the point where you no longer have a voice. Even as being submissive women and wives, you still have a voice. And we still have our place, and it shouldn't continue on. So anyways, I don't want to keep on going into it, but I do want to encourage women, and if you want to join me on a weekly basis, I will be talking about it. I need to heal. If you want to listen to my story, great. Yeah, exactly. I do feel brainwashed. And the reason why a lot of this is coming up is because as I go on throughout my day, and day to day, I will do something, and something will happen, or something will be said to me, and I react a certain way. And then I go, why did I just react that way? Why am I so mad right now? And that's because there's so many different ways that I was forced or, pounded down to believe and to think. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize until, a couple months later that the reason why I was feeling so bad is I didn't cry. I never allowed myself to cry. And when I did start to cry, I'd stop it immediately. I'm not talking about after 5 minutes. I'm talking about, I wouldn't even let a tear fall out of my eye because I knew that if I did, something worse was going to happen. And so I'm trying to learn. Oh, thanks. I'm trying to learn that it's okay to cry. It's okay. I'm not talking about crying because we're sad. I'm talking about crying because we're hurt, or our feelings are hurt, or we're exhausted. Any reason. It doesn't matter why you're crying. It's still okay to cry. It is a release. And so that's just one example of things that I'm learning about myself that I didn't realize that I had been brainwashed to believe. So, anyways, I just want to encourage people to talk about it. It's okay to talk. This is a no judgment zone because I have never and I will never judge anybody. I still do my best not to judge him, even in his actions, and still to date, he is still trying his hardest and his damnedest to get to me in ways. Exactly. Our feelings is very, very important. And healthy, I'm doing this because healthy doesn't just mean what we put in our body and how we feel physically. Health is your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. And so if we don't concentrate on those 3 areas, you will never be a healthy person. And I truly believe that it is important for us to continue to grow and develop in our lives. And when we stay stagnant, then there's something wrong. So I'm going to do this so that I can grow. And if you want to join me, great. If you don't, I understand. Even if I'm just talking to a blank screen, I'm still going to do it. So on a positive note, I am living a very happy life, and I'm learning how to leave the house because I wasn't allowed to leave before unless it was an errand. So I'm learning how to get out of my house. I'm learning how to become the person that I used to be, because she kicked ass. Like, she was awesome. I'm sorry. We'll just give ourselves wrong. She was awesome, and I want her back. And my children deserve this, and I deserve it. So anyways, thanks for joining me, and hopefully, you'll come back and listen to me again. And if you didn't catch this, you can catch the replay, give hearts, share it, and we'll do another one next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.